Goodness gracious, great balls of fire!
Okay, so in this video
we start from there,
Yosemite or Bishop,
all the way down here, pretty much main road for this particular bit until we get to that junction there, and we turn off.
it started to get stunning, didn't it?
It did. This particular piece here scared the heebie-jeebies out of us. More of that in the video. Overnight sleep there, which was pretty awesome. And the next day we came out here, Bosh, over there, across there, around here, and all the way down into Pahrump. Just because it's Halloween. This is how we always walk around hotels.
Are you sat on the lights?
You are.
Oh, yeah. There we are. I sat there on my big behind.
Yes.
Blocked all the lights.
Exactly.
What can I say? Rude. But show them the lights and the palm trees. It's very beautiful.
It is. It's very beautiful.
Oh, it's quite deep here. I'm short when I sit down. Are you sitting down?
Yeah.
If I do that, I haven't sat reached the bottom yet. I'm in a short horse when I sit down. This is not fair. I can't reach the seats. I'm going to get head wet. This is really nice actually because we've just spent the last 2 days riding through Death Valley, and we camped last night, which was great. It was lovely last night.
It was awesome.
Dirty sand though, gets everywhere.
Yeah, it's dusty sand.
My feet were so minging, so it was nice to...
But the really wonderful thing about Death Valley is, and we were kind of privileged to see it, is the aftermath of the storm that went through earlier in the year. And basically Death Valley flooded. And
It doesn't normally get rain, does it?
No, we didn't have to walk very far from where we were camped. In fact, you'll see some of the photos where the clay
Bottom
bottom had basically cracked and gone all crinkly. They were like Easter eggs. So I imagine Easter eggs.
Yeah, if you step on an Easter egg,
Yeah.
yes.
We don't need to step on it, just break it.
Sorry.
Stepping on it is a bit of an overkill. I don't know what kind of childhood you had, but I never went around stepping on Easter eggs.
Oh, I snorted, sorry. No, I mean, because we were walking on it. So it felt like we were walking on Easter eggs. Well, we hadn't been going long just before we reached sort of the Death Valley National Park bit. It was the lead up to it. It was still stunning. And we pulled in. We said, must stop and have a bit of lunch. And then I found us pooling place. I pulled in, and then you immediately said...
And I immediately said, oh,
look,
no,
picture.
don't park there. Park there.
Yeah,
Go over there.
well, you always do that anyway, but...
But there was a picture opportunity.
There was. Photo of the day, it was.
Photo of the day.
Here it is. Let's take you over here and let you see shot of the day. Because as we entered Death Valley, we started to see cactus trees. Cacti trees, cactus trees. And look at that. And we
and then we had lunch and everything else, which was a salad.
Oh,
wasn't it?
God,
and then
I nearly had a heart attack.
We started riding literally, we just started riding away. We were going up through the gears on the engine. All of a sudden, this almighty roaring noise.
I thought I'd slipped a gear to start with.
I don't know what it...
And then I thought, my God, the bike's about to explode. I was screaming in the earpiece to you.
My whole body tensed, and I just crunched up, and the adrenaline was rushing.
And we were both thinking of our own bikes at that point.
Effing and blinding into the things. And then suddenly above us, our heads was this low-flying jet that
He
had
obviously
basically
saw us,
flown
thought,
over.
this'll
It
be
just
funny.
buzzed us.
This will be
my
funny. Watch this,
God.
guys. Wasn't funny. I nearly had a heart attack. I had heart palpitations for a good 2 minutes after that.
And the rest.
Oh,
Took me a long time to come down from that one.
it was, yeah. And then we got to the roadworks. We got to the roadworks, but they were right at the Death Valley National Park sign. So us being asked, well, we're just going to go up the side and park at the sign. So we did. And missed that convoy.
So we had 20 minutes to wait for the next convoy.
But which time we had a chat with a Swiss couple in a camper who'd come over from Switzerland for 3 weeks and hired a camper. You had a chat with the man that holds the roadworks signs. slow and stop.
He's got stop and slow on either side of the board.
Honestly, God, I couldn't
really?
do that job.
No. And apparently he does 12 hours on, 12 hours off.
No,
Oh dear, what a job.
no.
But still, he was quite happy.
Yeah. I do 12 hours and the other guy does 12 hours.
Yeah, but it's baking hot at this point.
Yeah, well,
It was starting to get really warm.
yeah, but not warm for...
He had a big fancy Legionnaires hat thing
He
on,
did,
didn't he?
Yeah.
And then it was a shame we had to follow the pilot car because all the footage you'll see now will probably have the pilot car in it unless I can trim it off on corners. But the footage then was absolutely incredible.
As
We went
we
up and down.
Drop down the twisties.
We went up the twisties
into
and
the
then
valley.
we dropped down, didn't we?
Yeah, around the rock formations and things, and it was brilliant.
And
it
I can.
was,
Sorry,
it was not big on Mars, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like a Martian landscape.
But we wondered, well, where's the roadworks? But actually, what it was, with the storm and all the rain, the road had just disappeared only in
away.
slight places. But because it was impacting on the carriageway, it was made it slightly narrow. And honestly, you only had to get one wheel over there if you're in a vehicle, and you'd have been over, wouldn't you? So down you would go, tumble.
You would.
So it made
most-
sense. We were escorted through in
Yeah.
single file.
And most of the roads in Death Valley are still closed
Yeah.
because of water damage. It's really only the main highway through the middle that's
A couple
open.
of others, but that scenery was I mean, you'll hopefully see some of it on this. Well, you will see some of it on this video, but it's absolutely incredible.
we got there and it was 23, 24 degrees.
Oh, it's campsite.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
felt warm.
We stayed at Stovepipe. Stovepipe?
Yeah,
Stovepipe campground. Which was basically, if you were in an RV, it's basically
Just
a car park, and you were literally unit, like in car park spaces. If you were in a tent, be it bike or car or walk-in, whatever, if you were in a tent, you were at the back of the back of the car park, and you had a proper little campground in the sand, didn't you? And they were quite close together, but it was nice. But there was one couple of blokes, and then there was another lady. We thought, well, typically British, we don't want to impact on them, so we went right in the middle, away from them. And as we were just getting off the bikes, the two blokes walked over, didn't they?
Well, one of them, Jake, came running over.
Jake and John, but Jake came over.
Jake came around and said, "Oh, you're English, recognise the plates." And he asked, "Do you want a cup of tea?"
Yes. Oh, lovely, get a kettle on.
Oh, lovely, yes, we'll have a cup of tea, please. Yes.
So we had a nice cup of tea.
We did.
And
then he treated us to a rum and orange later on
yeah,
as well.
then he came back.
That
We
was
were
nice.
still putting the tent up. Would you like a rum and orange?
Yeah.
Clearly, yes, okay, we'll have a rum and orange. And that was very nice, wasn't it?
It was.
And then we had our food. And then we joined Jake and John around their fire, and by then you'd made friends with a lady at the next few pictures away, and she was called Jo. And we said, "Oh, look, we're going to join their fire. I'm sure they won't mind. Do you want to come along as well?" So she did.
Yeah.
And then about 2/3 of the way into the evening,
Kim,
this other lady came along.
Yeah.
And
She
said, "Hi,
came
I'm
and
Kim. Can I join the party?"
yeah,
I said,
she
"Yep."
just came and introduced
Sit
herself.
yourself
We had a
down.
great evening,
It
sitting
was
around,
brilliant.
fire pit going and watching the full moon, well, nearly full moon. It was
Yeah.
a waning moon.
It just rose up from behind the mountains. It was incredible.
It actually felt we felt really privileged to be in the middle of Death Valley. We'd all heard about Death Valley.
Yeah.
Okay, for us it was only 24 degrees during the day, and it got
Enough.
down to about 15 in the evening at night time.
So it was a little cool, but it was absolutely fine. And last
It was
night's
all right for
sleeping was
us.
perfect conditions. 15,
Yeah.
whatever it was, 13, 15 degrees was just perfect in the tent and the sleeping bags.
And then we got up this morning to a nice sunrise.
Oh yeah, it was gorgeous.
And but the downside to it all was the dust. Dust has got
It
everywhere.
was sand, but it wasn't beach sand. It was kind of mud sand.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mud sand, and some of it had turned to dust. Almost
Yeah.
like a bull dust almost.
Yeah, and it's, so the tent is now our green tent is now,
Grey.
it's kind of army camouflage,
Well, it
really.
is actually, yeah, it's
army
got
camouflage
all these
colour, because
brown
all these
bits all over
brown
it.
bits all over it, pale brown bits. So I wore the same pair of socks again, because there was no point, my feet were filthy.
And then we had a magical ride back out, which took another couple of hours.
It was just incredible.
It's a huge place, immense place.
And I
The
said,
scenery, but the amount of water damage, which
Yeah.
is unusual. There was still
Yeah.
water sitting in the bottom. We were at one stage we got down to 200 feet below sea level, and there was still water there from the storm.
Well, on the campsite, actually, you could see on the picnic tables, it was about 6 inches up the table legs was the flood water.
Yep.
So for somewhere that never gets rain, it was quite
Very
severe.
unusual.
But in the summer, the temperature in Death Valley gets up to sort of 50 degrees. It's quite normal. And in fact, the campsite's shut.
Yeah.
Those campsites in the valley are shut.
Yeah. They almost don't want the responsibility of people staying there.
Well, I think John said, "Oh, I've been here in the summer before," but it actually says on the wall, "Shut in the summer."
Yeah.
If you rocked up, I'm sure you'd be able to camp. But they're trying to discourage it because it's just too hot. And on one of the hills on the way up there, on the way up there, it said, you saw a sign and it said, "Turn off air conditioning for the next 10 miles.
Due to overheating engines.
Yeah.
Basically, the next 10 miles were climbing back out of the valley. So you'd be testing the engine anyway.
Yeah.
And the air conditioning would make it overheat during the summer.
But it was a surreal thing because it was one of those places that you see photos of and you go, "Oh, that's Death Valley, that looks exotic and exciting." You never think you're going to see it. And then we were riding on motorbikes through it.
Yeah.
It was just,
Yeah. The day after being in Yosemite.
yeah. I still, I just, the whole thing still feels surreal at times when we get to these places. It doesn't feel like it's really happening. Hence why I do the videos and we do the blogs. It's more so we've got a record when we look back.
Yeah, so we can remember these things.
Yeah.
Every day is a new adventure, a new place.
and I've written down every single night where we stay, so I can look back and there's a trail. I'll be able to look. Oh yes, and it'll bring back memories of every single night's accommodation or campsite or wherever it is. But yeah, so we're having a day off tomorrow. A day off riding.
Day off riding. We've got lots of admin to catch up on.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
It's nice to have a day off riding. I've got to go to Walmart and do a bit of shopping. We've got a few things we need to buy. And then just crack on with the videos and things. And it'll be nice to get a chance to catch up with one of those at least, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then see whether or not we reach the Grand Canyon.
You do realise you may not want to use any of this video.
Why?
Well, you're sitting there with your knees akimbo.
Oh, sorry.
And I don't know how much of that is visible, but there's no bubbles in the water.
Well, no, but I've got my swimming costume on. We don't need to discuss this in public, do we?
Well, that's why I left a little pause
So I could edit it out.
so you could edit it out.
You know I won't though. I've got my costume on. There's nothing to see here, folks. Right.
See you later.
Twirl.
You're going to twirl out.
Okay, I'll do a little twirl. Twirl. There, you've got your bubbles now.
Well, yeah, you're not supposed to break wind at the same time.
Rude. I'm enjoying the karaoke. What are you going to sing? As I said previously, Country Roads, good one.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire!
Enjoying the music?
You'd like to think it's karaoke night, but it's not. It actually sounds okay. Some of the rest of it's been a bit karaoke.